Happy Wednesday, Alison Myers.
Happy Wednesday. Happy hot
Happy
Wednesday
and happy Hanukkah. I mean,
to those who celebrate
to those who celebrate it when that comes out.
when it
And
comes around.
that's correct. Yeah. And I just also want to celebrate Passover and us surviving the the angel of death. So there's that.
So there's that.
Right.
Don't say there's nothing good going on.
There's
There's that.
tons of good going on. it is June, it's getting hot. Um, I we've been going to music shows, which is great. We had well, I
You have to
I
say
guess
the thing.
I need to say the thing, and then we'll
Yeah.
just we'll do what we do.
Yeah. Yeah.
You ready to air?
It's like you've never done this before.
That's correct. Are you ready to air drum?
I'm always ready to air drum.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna do finger drumsticks
Finger
this.
drumming.
Yep, I'm
Okay.
ready.
Hello, everyone. My name is Chris King, and I am a licensed therapist. And today, I am stuck in my head. Roll music. Um.
So what's up with you?
Oh my gosh, there's been a lot going on, dude. Lots going on. Uh, shall we just go straight into what's been stuck in our head? Because that could be the
Yeah.
report, so to
Yeah.
speak. I also want to say, in case you guys are wondering, that this is the season finale.
It's the closer.
And so if there have been like cliffhangers, you've you've come to the right place. You know, like especially if you've listened to all of this season's Stuck in My Heads, which started in December and have gone through pretty much weekly. Not always, but pretty close to weekly up to June. We're going to take a break for the summer and then reevaluate and decide what we're going to do next fall. So, um, all the questions that you've been dying to know about, and the cliffhangers, and I don't know, like maybe this is the
They'll
time where,
all they'll all be wrapped up and
yeah,
tied in a nice bow.
yeah, and I know that there are several of you that are having like watch parties and listening parties and stuff for the
Hmm.
season finale.
Yep.
And I just want to say, and I don't want to speak for you, but I just want to say I respect it.
Hmm. For sure.
I have what some might call mad props. Uh, so what's been stuck in my head? Well, so several things,
Yes.
but I think the big thing, like the big theme that's been stuck in my head, which has been like massive gratitude, has been being friends with your adult children because
Ah,
I miss my middle son Eli, although I got to see him just a couple of weeks ago for like a long weekend. And being with my kids as adults is just for me, it feels like the pinnacle.
ah.
It's just like it's just it. And so like I got to see Eli a couple weeks ago, and I wish he lived closer, but like but he's also doing great. There's that. But then we have Maggie, who you guys met in our first episode. Well, those of you who've been listening a long time, you kind of already know her, but we talked to her in our first episode. Maggie, who has a new baby, Rory, that is 6 months old, and then my youngest son, Drew, who is 22. Like I was with Drew all weekend because I drove to Denver and went to a Brit Floyd, which is the Pink Floyd band, at Red Rocks, and him and I went together. He flew out and met me on Friday, and we went together to this show, and it was like 70 degrees and breezy, and the songs were incredible and sounded great, and we were like, they'd start a song that we love, and we would just like grab each other and be like, "Come on, yeah," And so that was awesome. And then last night, you don't know that we did this, which is like, uh, my wife and I went with Maggie and Ryan, our daughter and son-in-law, over to Northwest Arkansas, and we saw Mumford and Sons last night.
My kid was there
It was it
with his
was the
lady.
most it was the most people I've ever seen at the amp. Like there
Yeah.
was not room for anyone. And they say it holds 11,000 people, which is crazy when you look at it because it's like, wow,
Mhm.
it's a lot of people. It was like every spot on the grass, every spot was full, and like there were like hundreds standing in the back, and then the pit was full too. Like there were probably like 14,000 people
Wow.
at the
Said it
Walmart
was
amp.
he said it was an awesome show.
It was incredible. Also, a young man's game to go from Tulsa to a Northwest Arkansas show on a Tuesday night.
And back.
Oh, bro.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, but like being with Maggie there and watching her and Ryan, we love him, just being their friends, like
Hmm.
joking about stuff and having a beer and watching an awesome band. Like I'm thankful, man. So that's been great. On the home front, what's been stuck in my head is just the sheer brutality of nature.
Ugh.
Nature's brutal. Um,
Yep.
and because we have a rose bush outside of our window, right out there,
Yep.
and I just turned my iPad, and in it, this female cardinal built a nest and sat on eggs for like several weeks. And we're like, oh my gosh. And she's just right outside our window. And we'd watch her. She would leave. We'd
Yeah.
watch the eggs. And then they all hatched. And we took
Oh,
pictures of the babies. And they're like, oh my gosh, how the babies, how the babies. And then 2 days ago, no babies.
what happened?
It for sure it was a snake.
Ugh.
Like, because it probably took, if I would have had a baby cam on them, it would have taken like 2 seconds. Because
Mm.
we have snakes.
Yeah, you do.
We do. And they, there was a time literally, and people will never want to come to my house, that we were hanging out watching TV and this was like at night, and we saw a snake fall across our window because
No.
he had been hanging out above it. And we just like watching, and out of our like peripheral vision, we just saw this snake just kind of go plop. We're like, what in the world? And
No.
so, yeah, so the babies, I'm sure the babies got eaten. And
Ugh.
when we have like when we get ducks, we get baby ducks like last winter, and it's the best. Every day I go out and I'm like, oh my
So
gosh,
cute and
there's
fuzzy and
mom
yeah.
and the ducks, yeah. And then one day I heard them just quacking like crazy, and I'm like, that doesn't sound good. And I went up to the pond, and there was a fox, like
Oh no.
like with his like looking like a dog wanting to play. Like he just kind of like was like on the edge of the water, and they were all in the water, just going whack 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 whack, like trying to scare.
Yeah.
And the fox is like, "You are my lunch." And
Oh
we started with six, we ended with two. I'm like, I
no.
don't know how anything lives out
Well,
there.
also, full disclosure, you live in Broken Arrow, dude. Like your stories sound like you live in Colorado or
I know,
Montana,
I
but
know.
you're just like chilling in Broken Arrow with all this wildlife around you.
It is great. Like I really wanted trees, and Broken Arrow, for those of you that don't know, has like terrible city ordinances that allows contractors to just mow the trees down when they build. So it's like a big suburb, but it's some of it's old enough in the middle of Broken Arrow where the trees are
Still
all
live.
still around. Yeah, they're still around. And
They're
so
all
we
full
have,
of snakes.
yeah, full of stuff. So we have a pond and a creek, and our house sits in the middle of it, and there's kind of a floodplain around us, and then 3 acres and thousands of trees right in the middle of Broken Arrow, like half a mile from Main Street, Broken Arrow. And Broken Arrow is a suburb of, I don't know, 120,000 people, something like that, of Tulsa. And so we have this, it's awesome. Like the frogs are so loud every night, like you have to yell. And, but there's an ecosystem. Like the owls sit on our fence and just watch. And the hawks, when we scare the hawks off, you see sometimes they have a mouse
Oh,
in their talons.
circle of life, you know?
Circle of life. We are in the middle of it, and I'm just curious what's going to eat us one of these days. But I'll tell you what, when that happens, I'm all in.
You're like, take it, just take
Take
me.
me, take me, make me part of this earth right here.
But
Oh
do it
yeah,
fast and make it
let's
not
make
hurt.
let's make it fast. Yeah,
Yep. That's my
yeah,
new
yeah.
rules for being
Yeah.
eaten
So
by.
right. So the brutality of nature. So anyway, time with my adult kids, brutality of nature. That's been stuck in my head,
All
which,
right.
pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's been stuck in your head, my friend?
Well, we went on vacation to Disney World, which
Mm,
is its own kind of thing.
you went
And
to, did you go to the world or the land?
world, the whole
Okay,
world. Yep.
the world.
The Florida, Orlando world. And this was a first because our big boys didn't come. So like you're talking about hanging out with your adult kids, and I'm talking about not hanging out with my adult kids. And
Yeah.
so that was
Is
kind
it?
of a bummer for sure. But like I can't, I wasn't like angry or anything. It was just a bummer. You know, it's like they got
Yeah,
stuff they
yeah, yeah.
do and they've had these other commitments and so they just had to do it. And so it was like the younger kid, young-ish kids in the family on Ryan's side, like Merrick, ninth grade. And then my brother-in-law's boys are like middle school and late elementary. And so in that regard, like missing the boys was like super weird because we've done the Disney thing a lot, but we've never done it without them.
Right.
But all in all, it was a really good trip, which was actually mildly miraculous because the other thing stuck in my head. I just kind of haven't been feeling well. Uh,
Yeah.
for like a long time, it feels like now. And not to get like all vulnerable and emotional, but I don't know. I'm doing all the work I can do and talking to all the people I can think of to talk, both medical professionals and hormone professionals and therapy professionals and we just kind of I don't think we've landed the plane on
Mm,
exactly is going on, or maybe it's like a dosage thing or whatever. But as I sit here in this office right this second, I'm just still not well. I'm not myself. And so and it feels um to use one of your words, like super disorienting to
hmm.
be in a body and a brain that doesn't feel like me
Yeah.
for as long as I have been. I mean, obviously we all have these moments that like rise up or whatever. And like no secret, I talk about it all the time. Uh I have a well marked, well worn history of anxiety and anxiety related behavior. Um, and so my tendency is just to assume anything that feels weird in my body is that. Like, well,
Yeah.
because I'm an
Yeah.
anxious person, it's all goes into that bucket.
Yeah.
And I think I'm wondering, and after talking to some folks, like, you know, I'm a midlife woman, which for
Yeah, you
those
are.
of you that don't know, the midlife female landscape, so wild, it's a wild place.
Wait, wait. You're telling me that when
Uh-huh.
you get into your 40s and 50s, not
You
disclosing
choose
your
yourself.
age in any way, but for women, that things change. Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying. And I'm not like trying to get on like a thing,
Who knew?
but I was talking to our friend Natalie Vassar about
Hmm.
something else, and I was like, "Oh, by the way, I'm doing awful." And we were just chatting about being, 40 something.
Yeah.
I won't give anybody's age. And
Right.
what is interesting about this particular time, I think, in that I find myself both like where in time I find myself is that I think there is just now starting to be some momentum in paying attention to what is happening in the midlife space for
Yeah.
women, whereas
Yeah.
maybe historically that wasn't the case. It was like you were kind of done having babies and you hadn't hit the menopause thing, so it was just sort of like, sorry, it's just kind of hard. I guess just thug it out. And
Yeah.
now there's some doctors saying, no, I don't think that like why should we expect 50% of the population to just feel terrible
Just to be miserable
for
if we don't have to.
some, yeah, for like 3 to 10 years if there's an option for it to not. And she was saying even at the psychiatry level that um, some like the continuing ed and stuff that's happening is that when perimenopause, that's the term, uh,
Hot topic.
perimenopause age women show up in your psychiatry office complaining of increased depression and increased anxiety, that actually you don't start with doping them up with SSRIs. You actually start with, how about let's talk about your hormones, or let's look at your
That's
hormones,
right. Yeah.
and then work back. It still might be, that
Hmm.
you need an SSRI or some sort of medication. But it's just really interesting. And she said to me on the phone, she was like, your daughter will not have this, like the it will be part of the training by that time. Like
Oh, right.
now it's like still people are having to kind of like fight to get taken seriously,
Yeah.
and like not all doctors were trained this way. And so, but like the medicine will catch up and the science is already there. And so, like Merrick won't have to wonder if she's nuts or if
Yeah.
something else. And it may not even be that. So I don't know,
Right.
just sitting in a I'm just sitting in a weird kind of space.
I do appreciate the approach that she's talking to you about, and it's consistent with whenever we're talking about trying to be helpful to people or just in life. Like it's a Maslow thing. Like if we are sick and our bodies aren't working, like a lot of the other stuff just isn't on the table.
Yeah.
And and I think a lot of us have a real hard time um understanding that foundational aspect. And if we can do anything about that foundation, sometimes we just can't. We have to adapt to it, right? But
Right.
and for those of you listening, like Alison and I talked about this. So, and you said, yeah, let's do the last podcast. Let's do this. And
Yeah.
so I am
And
glad
I
you're
think it's a
here.
unique, I think it's a unique place to be. And I don't think I think if you're a male or a female, it doesn't matter, and you're like having a hard time, but you're in a family and you have people that you have to take care of, or you have a role to play in that, like that, it gets really complicated because Maslow's is about me, but
Right.
I live in a we.
Living a we.
And so like what does it look like to take care of me, but also take care of my we people, and let some of my people take care of me, and so I've been like trying to practice vulnerability and practice community,
That's so good.
and it's exhausting, but
But it is a part of that 360 blessing that we've been saying every week here.
yeah.
I mean, you guys have value and so do I. And so maybe I need to help myself. Maybe I need a little help from you.
Yeah.
If I can, whatever capacity I have, I can help you. Like there's this give and take with the value of others and ourselves.
And it's, I mean, not to like jump ahead, but I think it's kind of, I don't know, maybe sort of fitting that that's kind of where I find myself, because I kind of feel like in some form or fashion, like accepting the life you have is sort of what we talked about all like all year long, like from the very beginning, even like starting with Maggie, like tell us what happened. And
Mhm.
and there was so much about that whole thing of having a baby, being pregnant and having a baby, and like expectations that were met, expectations that were not met, things that went exactly like we thought, things that didn't, and all culminating in this, like, well, what was the title? Like staring life in the face.
Staring
Like,
life in the face. It was an awesome title. I think Drew did that.
yeah, like what else can you do? Well,
Amen.
I guess you can do a lot of things, but at the end of the day, those are all just kicking it down the road. Like at some point, you just have to stare at the truth of this is the reality of my life. Like this is what it's like today. It doesn't mean it's going to stay that way. It doesn't mean I
That's
like it,
right.
but it is what it is. And that's super orienting
Yeah.
because you can't. go, if you want to go somewhere different, you can't go anywhere until you know where you are.
Man, that has been what we've been talking about. And it's funny how that when we have real life things happen to us, like it's like, yeah, I think we're onto something,
Yeah.
you know? So, okay, so that gets us into what we're going to do today, which is we've had this pattern, I've talked about the book or the material, like, and I would say this, like, I wasn't really trying to use the podcast as a promotional tool for the book, but I would say that, like, that stuff that's been on my mind has been pervasive, and I just decided to focus more on that this season in our podcast. And it does feel like that it's kind of a little bit full circle, like with what you're experiencing now, and even how we started it off. And I've been working on this book, which I think is going to be ready in the fall. Now people are reading it, and it has passed the doesn't suck like test. Like that was my thing. I'm just like, please just don't let it suck. And so I kicked it out to about 10 people and an editor, and I got some really great feedback. The feedback has a lot of kind of some of the feedback's been kind of like more of your stories. I'm like, well, I don't, because it's kind of autobiographical, but it's also about the idea.
Mhm.
Um, and then I'm also probably going to have to, I feel like I need to add a couple of chapters, one about, because we're going to do a companion book to it, which is made for like sort of like helping yourself or for clinical kind of use, like connecting the idea of the orientation cycle um, to practical application. But it needs more of that in it. So I'm doing a chapter on some practical application about how to use relational concepts with all relationships, not with just each other. And then the other chapter that I'm going to add, which I think will be a fast one, which I feel like I talk about in spots, but it needs its own chapter, is just on death and dying. And because that's how the whole conversation really got going in my brain and thinking about this idea of orientation, it was kind of couched in grief.
Mhm.
And so and a lot of the things that I suggest that we do, the concepts, like they tend to come out of a grief framework. So I'm going to do a chapter on that. But
Cool.
I mean, a lot. We've got a journal that's going to come out with it. We've got like maybe a course and some learning stuff, and it's we're going to build a little bit of a ecosystem around
Oh,
it. Yeah, yeah, around the orientation cycle, and we've got a new working title, which is the title's hard. Right now, the working title is "You Are Here: Why Orientation Changes All of Your Relationships," something like that.
yeah.
So anyway, um, but it's about where are you, and
Mhm.
knowing where you are, like telling the truth about where you are gives you a place to stand. This is what 12-step groups have done forever.
Yeah.
And this is not a new idea, but the language feels new. And when I talk to people about it, they look at me like I'm staring into their souls. Like I'm like I don't mean to be creepy here.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to, but when I talk about I feel lost or I feel stuck, and like, yeah, like how do we navigate that, and what does it mean, and then
Mhm.
what are the stories that shaped me and that other people around me, and learning how to understand how to get oriented and what that looks like in life. So we started. So today we want to talk about what we've talked about this year, and maybe
What
highlight
have we
some of.
learned?
Say that again.
I said, what have we learned? Have we learned anything?
Yeah.
What did
Yeah.
we?
Right. Right. And there's some. I think there's some bullet points that we might want to share with you guys, and maybe a little bit of memories and look back. But I want to start. I want to start light, and I want to ask you: is there any moment from the stuck in my head part from the small talk that surpasses me exploding my Lycra bicycle jersey?
Nothing in time will ever surpass that story.
The
Nothing.
fact that this is the year that my fatness got so out of control.
No,
Like, people don't
no,
think of me as fat, I don't think, but like when I'm
no, they
like
don't.
this is what, yeah.
I
I'm
still think it was just a cheap jersey, but I appreciate the story very, very, very much.
this has been the year of stress eating for sure. So like, I'm like out on the bike and like my jersey just goes again, there's the sound.
There's the sound. Yeah,
Yeah.
exploding
Were there
noise.
I mean, I don't know what else
There's
there I
nothing
mean,
else.
it's hard to come up. Like, we did not make lists. We probably should have. But I'm
You
like,
should
hey,
have.
what were some stuff that stood out in all of our small talk? Because a lot of people, when they're like, your podcast is great, I'm like, what do you love about it? Like, well, the counseling stuff's good, but you guys just bullshit and like that's gold. I'm like, okay,
Yeah, thank you. Thanks so much.
yeah,
Yeah,
good,
I
good.
I mean it's like what else is there to talk about except that story? That and Rory. I mean, she was just a highlight, obviously, and you becoming a grandpa. And at some point you're gonna get a grandpa name if you don't already have one. And do you have one?
I've been I've been pining for Sugar Pop,
Sugar
but
Pop. Yeah.
I don't know if that's going to happen or not.
Yeah, we'll just see. Well, she may
I hate
get
how I hate how Grandpa sounds. Like I really I think I'm 42.
mm,
My knees don't think that though.
yeah. No, I don't think you're 42.
Easy. Hey,
But I'm not
I
42. So,
here's okay. Can I just interject? Like, okay, I maybe this story will not eclipse the Lycra explosion,
no.
but okay, and maybe Mhm. What are the chances of that? No, there's no chance that a stranger that I ran into will listen to this because they don't know who I am. So I'm going to tell a story about what happened at Red Rocks. Okay,
Oh,
so that narrows it down to like 15,000 people in the world. So and I don't anyway, I'm gonna say it. Drew and I are there as father and son, and we're having just the best time. And I sit next to a woman who is probably in between you and Maggie in age. I'm gonna say she's mid-30s. Okay. And Maggie's 30. And she's there with an older gentleman. And as
mhm.
soon as I say this, you know where this is going. I say, and this is awesome. Like, I'm here with my son. And like, you came with your dad.
Ugh.
And yeah, I said that to a stranger
Uh-huh.
sitting beside me at a concert. And
Uh-huh.
she said, No, no, actually, that's my husband. Oh. He was older than me. I mean, it was just like it visually,
Yeah.
the
I mean,
comment
he
fit.
he obviously could have been her father,
Oh, yeah,
but he was not.
absolutely. He was not. And I looked back at this woman and I just said, I got nothing. I am so sorry and I'm embarrassed. And then she, give her credit, is like, oh, it happens all the time.
And it probably does.
We're good. It happens all the time. I'm like,
And then
well,
you proceeded to sit next to her for the rest of the concert.
the rest of the show. And I said, that doesn't really make me feel better. Anyway, and
Did
I
you
turned
also
to
ask
Drew.
her if she was pregnant while you were at it?
So,
Golly.
anyway, and then I just kind of like turned away.
Yeah,
I
and
don't know
then
if
you
I
kind
really
of,
did that. We had friendly banter the rest of the show, but I'm like, I can't. That's just so me. I just want to buddy up to people and be like, hey, how's
I
it going?
know.
What's the deal? And then it's just
You're
like,
just trying to connect.
why would I say such a ridiculous thing? Because I was just asking for that. Yeah, yeah, that's your dad. And no, no, it's my husband.
My husband.
Okay. So
All right. Well, I'm gonna leave this show now. Yeah.
yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah, I guess we're gonna drive back to Tulsa.
Well, I guess I'm gonna melt into the ground and
Uh-huh.
just and like I'm not here anymore.
I could do Chris Farley. I could say that and just wait and then just be like, stupid, stupid, stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
And she could have like comforted you and then
yeah, right. Then and she's like, oh no, it's okay. And I'm like, oh, thank you. Thank you
thank
for
you
making me feel better.
about this thing I said to you.
Right. All right. Exactly.
What a
Yeah.
great counselor.
But anywho,
But
I
nothing tops the bike.
nothing tops the exploding bike jersey. Okay, so let's talk about some of our learns from this year. And we had a few guests, not very many. Mainly it
Hmm.
was you and I talking about topics. And we kicked off the season with staring life in the face. And Maggie decided, she's like, no, I want to talk about the difficulty of conceiving, and then when you do a what feels like a near death experience,
Mm.
for myself and for my daughter. And I'm like, you don't, I just didn't want to be exploitive, you know what I mean? Like, because it's a
Yeah.
crazy story. And she's like, I think maybe if I talk about this, like it might be helpful to someone. So that's what we did. And I think that's been the case. Um, but it got us kicked into this theme of like kind of like both and or two hands of
Hmm.
like reality is not the enemy, you know? Reality
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
is, right? I mean, loss, but also life.
Right.
And
It's not all there is.
right, right. Like
And that
I mean,
and that we are complicated. And so, like in Maggie's case, it can be like devastating and hard and sad and scary, and also so super grateful that we have this baby girl. Like it gets to be both of those things. Like it doesn't have to be one or the other. And it neither takes away from the truth of either of those.
yeah, yeah. We've talked a lot about this year, like in my room, and then also on the podcast about almost making these both hands. Well, on the one hand, there's this reality that's hard to handle, and it's maybe a grief thing. It's maybe a bad thing that I don't like. And then
Mhm.
also on the other hand, there's these pieces of gratitude that are real, and like making them your travel companions.
Yeah.
Like it's that's the honest way to live.
Yeah.
And you know, it I think one of the things that we were thinking about is like it's not really the goal to have a perfect life, but maybe just like be aware of what you've actually got. Like live
Yeah.
the thing you are doing, right?
Yeah. Live the life you're in and whatever that means. And that doesn't mean that you can't want something different than what is, but be alive and be awake to the life that you're currently having. And also, perfect life, like who gets one of those? Like, what does that even? I mean, I guess it depends on how you define perfect, right? But like, if you mean perfect as in nothing ever goes wrong, nothing's ever difficult, like just we'll just we'll end that cliffhanger right now. Like, that's not a thing. Like,
Wait. Where people were waiting on that one.
yeah,
Like,
they
are you
hadn't
guys getting
figured
ready to
that
tell
one
me
out
the
yet.
secret, the
They hadn't
secret of
figured that one
having a
out.
perfect life? Yeah, yeah, yeah. So one of the things that we made a little bit of a list, um, some of the best of ideas. Um, there was staring life in the face, what is, what ought to versus what ought to be.
Yeah.
Big theme. That's a big theme in the book. The idea of the loneliness epidemic and how to deal with inner critics. How gratitude is something that you can pull out of the sky.
Mm.
It was kind of a really, really big one. And then we wrapped up just recently with this idea of like the grief and the adjustment of launching your adult kids, maybe to
Mhm.
college or maybe they're going to go do their own life. I'm kind of curious, like, what are some things that you like now that here we are sitting like basically 6 months later,
Mm.
what ideas like hit home for you when it comes to our discussions? Because they were freaking great, man. Every time we talk, I love it.
Yeah, I mean, I think what is versus what ought to be is super resonating in my head right now because of just where I'm finding myself. Like, um, and there's an acceptance piece to that, and there's expectations that, there's a lot of different other themes that we touched on kind of all wrapped up in it. But this idea of like learning learning that saying what is the truth about what is, this is how I feel, this is the truth of my life right now, um, doesn't mean I'm saying I like it and it's going to stay this way forever. And camping out only in, but it shouldn't be like this. I don't deserve this,
Right.
or it ought to be better. Isn't help. It just isn't helpful. And again, acknowledge
No.
it. That's a real feeling. And we talked about this actually last night. Ryan and I did. We recently helped out. a family at a funeral of a young person, and it's always hard when it's someone young. Like it's always hard, but like just a tragic diagnosis, like a quick loss, like they weren't even like they hadn't even like had time to process the diagnosis and it was like she was gone. I mean, it was just very, very,
Oh my gosh.
and Ryan said when he met with the family, like this conversation about basically saying, I want to honor your family, I want to honor her, I want to honor God. Let's talk about how let's talk about all the good things about her. And it's totally okay if you're just like super pissed. Like,
Yeah.
this doesn't make sense. Why didn't we
Yeah.
stop this? Like all that. And like we talked about, and similar to this, what ought to be, there's a balance to be found between acknowledging that you wish it wasn't the way it was,
Right.
but not living over there because that's actually not real.
It's not. I think a language shift that is really helpful, and we've talked about this, is like, what would it be like if we could say, this is what I want instead of what ought to be?
Mm.
Because in that instance, like acknowledging what is and saying, I want it to be different. In that way, we sort of take responsibility
Yeah.
for what is happening and maybe the potential of us moving towards what we want versus feeling very separated by what the world around us and these things that we can't control, which is 100% true. But like the world ought to be a better place. Like, well, it's not. Also, in some ways, it is. What do you want in your
Yeah.
part of the world? What do you, and it doesn't even have to be about action steps. Like it can really be just a shift of language, even when you're feeling helpless, that is literally more honest. Because when you say it ought to be, like according to who? I mean, I guess according to God. Oh, wait, if you want a biblical, if you like a biblical answer, like, there's some of that action that like there's a bit of a oh, I don't know, a fail safe in the Bible for like the world's a terrible place because like the Bible's like the world's a terrible place.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this is real.
it is.
Also, so yeah, but saying what we want versus what ought to be is a very helpful shift. I would like it if it was this way, and maybe you try things, or you express it.
Yeah.
Um, Maybe you don't, but you just are honest about it. Because I think that ought thing just keeps us really stuck. Why
Yeah.
is it not? Why is it not X? Now we're like in deficit. We're always in deficit.
Yeah.
And the awful, I say awful, the challenging truth of that is that like it's kind of impossible for our brains to get out of deficit sometimes. Like when our bodies start breaking down whenever we're aging, or there's death and disease and all this stuff, like it is disorienting at its core. Um, but what do we want? And
Mm.
so because like then that opens up possibilities. Well, I want my disease to improve, so I take steps to helping my disease. I want to cope with it in a way that creates life. Like literally, I have this thing, and it's just gonna. We've tried all this stuff. It's not gonna happen. But I can. There's also this other space about what I want. It's just it's a possibility laden conversation when that language shifts slightly,
And
and
I think
we've
just
done that all year.
anchoring to truth, because I
Yeah.
think not just the truth about what is current, but what history has shown us. Like,
Hmm.
as a person with anxiety, when I find myself in a panic type episode, it feels like, well, this is how I am now.
Right.
Welcome to the crazy house or whatever. But the
Yeah.
but history would tell me this will pass.
That's right.
There's a range of time maybe that it will last, but this isn't forever. And
Yeah.
I think where we get, and this gets into expectations, I think sometimes where we get disappointed is we want to think the thought or think the truth or whatever, do the anchor to truth. We want to do it once. and have it work like a magic. And what all of these things are like practices for life, which are
That's right.
they're regular, they're long game, I mean, like even the study that we referenced about gratitude, that,
Yeah.
the patients that spent 3 days a week, 20 minutes a time journaling about what they were grateful for, over time, they saw as much improvement as those that had been on medication. Well, they didn't see that improvement after one journaling session or one
Right.
week of it. It was over time. And I think that is the hardest thing sometimes. And I mean, maybe you could speak to this about it's your profession, not mine, but I imagine in your profession that you have a lot of people that want to come in one time, two times, and they want to be fixed. And
Well,
what
sure.
I'm talking about is like reorienting your life, which takes like
Fine.
long time. It's long game, and we don't have a culture that is super supportive of long game
Right.
type stuff.
Right. And so, yeah, because when it comes to what we want, ultimately, well, I mean, like, we tend to live our lives in order to avoid pain or to increase comfort, if we can do that. But that can be a short-term game. It's kind of a child's game, and but we can buy that. And so, like, one of the things collectively that we have bought in buying comfort, we've also bought expectations. We've
Mhm.
bought beliefs about the way that things ought to be on our phones and through our connectivity, which divorces us from the natural world and the natural processes of pain, like what it means, like to build a house versus buy a house, or to
Mhm.
mow a lawn versus hire someone to mow your lawn,
Yeah.
or to keep the weight off by walking versus not. And so, and then the economics of that can become super challenging. So there's like an organic nature to like the what is conversation. And when you talk about believing the history of it, I'm like that. I love that, Allison, because like that's another what is. Like, oh,
Yeah.
I get better. Hmm. My body gets all out of whack, and I hate that. And then it tends to regulate too. Oh, okay, all right. Well, that I don't think about that a lot because I'm concerned. But like that's good too. Okay, can I tolerate X amount of time?
Yeah.
Like, and I think that's that awareness and those conversations that people can have in community about like leaning into what is like side by side. Like it's
Yeah.
not always about just the awful of what is. Like
Right.
there's a lot of what is that's like we need to hang on to that is so amazing.
Well, and it's also really helpful in a different way. If, again, back to, we'll just use me as an example, like if you have a strong history of always coming through, okay, maybe it takes this long, maybe it takes this long, but you find yourself in something new where it's taking this long, then you can compare and contrast and go, oh, actually, this is different than before. And it doesn't mean I'm not going to come out of it, but it's important to know, okay, I'm going to I'm going to pick a different
Yeah,
path, or I'm going to go down this path to try and find an answer that's different than the path I've gone down before, because this is shaping up different than historically what has happened. And I think I mean, just paying attention, which we talked about a lot, like
a lot.
paying attention to yourself, paying attention to other people. We, I told Ryan last night, I was like, I think I'm supposed to talk about this, like whatever this thing is that I'm going through. Like,
Yeah.
I think I'm supposed to talk about it, and I think I'm supposed to talk about it before I'm on the other side of it.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Because what has been, I'm gonna get emotional, what's been so incredibly um life-giving in the midst of something that feels like it's life-robbing is the people in our lives that have showed up for me. Um,
Mm.
whether it's just a text or um like just this complete reinforcement that we are not we are not meant to do this thing by ourselves, and we are not meant to, and I don't even know that we can.
Yeah.
uh, I know this isn't like a necessarily a Christian podcast, but I love the story in the Bible of the friends that bring their paralyzed friend to Jesus, and they like cut in line, which is super rude, and they like knock a hole in somebody else's roof, which is also like super rude, and they like totally bypass all the regular rules, and they lower their friend through the roof to the feet of Jesus, and he looks at the friends and he says, "Your faith
Yeah.
made their faith has made you well." Like this idea that we can carry each other, and this idea that we can, if Jesus is your person, like we can bring people to Jesus when they can't get themselves there, or we can hold
Amen. Yeah.
when they can't hold themselves. And it's like a a really huge mystery, but it's also, I think, incredibly foundational to what it means to be a human being.
Oh, so I want to piggyback because it changes everything when you're the person on the cot.
Yeah.
So you and I living our lives in ministry work and helping people work for our adult lives, when we're the helpers, we're the ones in control and dealing out benevolence, and we can feel good about ourselves.
Hmm.
And that is true. That's 100% true. And there are many of us that probably, if you dig deep into our psyche, would say that's why I do it,
Hmm.
which is can be problematic. But when you're the person on the cot, like on the receiving end of that, understanding that, like that's an effing game changer. It changes everything. Because when you're in the helping business, you're like, I'm strong. I can help.
I'm the
Right?
helper.
I'm the helper. This gives me, I'm very oriented in my sense of helping. But the vulnerability that it takes to accept what those friends and other helpers provide and to trust them and to engage in a supernatural organic bond that is one of the things that keeps me believing in God. It's just like how our relationships are transcendent
Hmm.
across fear and pain and inconvenience and Jesus' message of grace and forgiveness. Like, if you fucked me over, like all of that is transcended in the supernatural nature of these holy and wonderful relationships whenever we are the one on the cot.
Yeah.
And right. And so then our lives, what's so crazy about it is like when we're on the one on the cot and we're able at all through our pain to reflect on the beauty of what these other people have offered historically and what they're offering now, is that it it broadens our lives improve.
Mm.
Like our perspective, our belief about what is available, the abundance of what's out there, like it just like grows. And um so I think that when we talk about what is and acceptance, which is basically also what is required for the person on the cot to be like,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, sure. We have to accept it. I wrote this down whenever you're saying it. I don't know if I've said it in the season yet, but and I don't know who said it. I'm sure it's out there in a book someplace. But acceptance does not is not the same thing as resignation.
Mm. Yeah.
Those are two different words. So like there's this acceptance of like the death nail, which is resignation. It's just like I got nothing, and that's just a different thing than being like, yes, this is true, and I'm still curious. Um, which brings me to maybe I don't know if it's the last word, but it's one other word.
Being present.
Oh yeah,
Attention.
yeah,
Paying
presence,
attention.
attention. Thank you. Yeah, attention. But the the other one is curiosity.
Yeah.
and like this difference between curiosity and fear. And I've not said I'm curious a lot this year like I did in previous years. We've not had a curiosity count like we did in season two.
I know. I noticed.
Yeah, I know. Kind of fell by the
You're
wayside.
less curious
Uh,
this year. I don't.
I don't know, well, maybe. But that word has been energizing to me when we've talked to our experts, like we had our therapist who was the ballet dancer, or we had, you know, Greg Taylor as the author talking about his children, or Natalie talking about ADHD stuff, and or Ryan, your husband, talking about what he knows about youth. Like curiosity has been a game changer for me this year. I think I want to talk to more guests because I want to know. But I don't know. I love asking you what you think about these things, and my prayer is that whenever we put this thing out, that it makes people think about things in ways that make them want to explore things
Yeah.
more. I used to say this whenever, and I like the idea. Like back at New Life, we started outdoor education about
Mhm.
30 years ago. It was kind of like take what was happening at this summer camp property, and like the best time of the year to be there was in October anyway.
Mhm.
It was just incredible, and like so like let's partner, let's have a relationship with the land and with the supernaturalness of all of it, and learn some things about the way the world works, like science and stuff and biology and the stars, and I'm getting to curious. So what I did then that I'm happy with, and I think I still do this, and I want people to do it if if they're so inclined, is that we don't have to be experts to be a part of changing people's lives. Like we just don't.
Yeah.
So like what happened then was like, well, wait, you're going to teach biology by doing like creek studies and having kids catch crawdads. I'm like, hell to the yeah. Yes, absolutely. And I don't have to know hardly anything about how crustaceans work and under rocks and what kind of water they need to live in. That might make me more of an authority, and it might make our program more viable or better. But you know what the money is that the kid and the leader, that they like it, they're interested in it, they're amazed, they've got energy, curiosity,
Mm.
they've
Yeah.
got curiosity. And so that's true when it comes to theology. Like I don't have to actually, I'm not going to do apologetics. Like I don't like any of that stuff anymore. Like I'm like, I don't have to prove stuff to you.
Yeah.
Like maybe it helps if we just have conversations, because like I'm just curious, and
Yeah.
I want to inspire curiosity. Like, do you want to
Yeah.
know more? Do you want in more? We can do that in therapy. We can do that in ministry. We can do that in our families, and I just think it's
Be
huge.
curious about other people and honestly being curious about yourself.
Yes,
Why did I do that? Or why am I so into that? Or what's that about? Who am I?
right. Because it's a humble position when
Yeah.
you're like, huh, that's weird. Instead of like, oh, I can't believe that, or have this rigidity to create all of our safety. Oh, that's weird. What's up with that? Like,
Yeah.
that's why when Greg Robinson was on at the end of last season, he's just like curiosity, like like the truth is like this clarity point that then gets expanded by curiosity.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love it. Love, 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 love. And
Good
I
stuff.
don't know. Yeah, yeah, I don't know.
And it
I
like one of the bullet points says that curiosity can and should replace judgment. We're so quick to judge ourselves for being a certain way or thinking a certain thing, or judge someone else for being a certain way or saying a certain thing, instead of being like, tell me more about that, actually. Why is
right.
why was that so fun to you? Or why do you like that so much? Or instead of being like, that's weird. I don't like that. Like you're a weirdo or whatever, which is, or, shaming people. It's like if there's a story underneath everything, get curious about the story instead of like swapping the judgment for the curiosity, I think is a way better, like more positive place to live from.
It would be our challenge, I think, to those of you out there listening. Like two more bullet points and we'll start to wrap up. Accept that life involves change and loss. The change that I want to challenge us in is like, what if we could be humble and like consider curiosity?
Mm.
What if we could make a habit of gratitude? What if we could allow the truth of loss and what is? And this is change for a lot of us. So, but change is happening. Do you want to be a part of it? Do you want to roll with it? Do you want to inspire it? Do you want to create it? And and lastly, and this is how I end the book, but my sign off is with love and a whole lot of hope. Like these conversations are about hope. And what's interesting is that a lot of our conversations, including today, like involved some painful things.
Yeah.
But like hope exists.
Yeah.
It's real.
And learning to hold on to it is super important, even if it's just a sliver.
Yeah. 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 Being
And
unstuck isn't about getting rid of pain. It's about learning to face life as it is while remaining connected, curious, and hopeful.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
And you know, and we talked about like loneliness epidemic and we talked about some hard things. If you're not feeling hopeful, if you can't find that sliver of hope, say it. Say it, tell somebody that.
Tell the truth. Join. Get vulnerable. Do the best you can. And let's come together and create that because that is not the end of the story when we are hopeless.
Yeah. Amen.
I forgot that. We did like two whole suicides, but two whole like suicidality
Yeah.
episodes as well. Like so acceptance and connection, community, hope. It's
Yeah.
possible. Alison, you are doing a good thing and by doing this with me. I want to thank you for that.
Well, thank you for having me.
Oh my
Sometimes I don't know
gosh.
what I bring, but I'm always glad to be here.
Um, I I mean, I want you to excel at your job, but like sometimes I think this might be your calling, but that feels a little reductive,
This
because
podcast
you're
might
like,
be my
hey,
calling.
yeah, maybe
This podcast better start generating some money.
for money.
So any
People,
sponsors out there that are listening,
it's so funny. People are like, yeah, this is my calling. I'm like, well, would you do it for free? Like, oh no, I wouldn't do
oh, oh
that.
no, it's not that kind of calling. No,
Oh
it's
my gosh.
super fun.
Good season.
Good
Um,
season. Good
Here's our
game.
blessing. Here's our blessing. Yeah, good game, man. Are you gonna fist bump? You gonna like do the pat hug, the the slap it, the high five
Yeah, it's
it?
kind of like hands in the middle.
Yeah, like good game. Hey,
Yeah.
um, so our blessing that we've been integrating, and it's in the book, and it's not not a revolutionary idea, but it kind of is, which is you are no more important than anyone else in the world. And I just wish that we would act that way, right? Like, can we be humble enough to put others first, particularly when just to get our eyes off ourselves in that way. Also, you are as important as everyone else in the world.
Yeah.
So the eyes on self actually is a good thing because it's where we control our lives. It's where we take responsibility.
Mhm.
It's where we come to grips with the idea that if we are loved, if there's an orientation that says we are loved, then we get a vote. Asking for what you want isn't bad. You might not get it. It might be immature. I don't know.
It might take a long time.
It might take a long time. Um, you might get 25% of it. But like, so looking out for the other and looking out for the self. 360 blessing. It's our encouragement for you. So, any last words before we shut this puppy down for a few months?
No, you said it all. You said it well.
I said it all like times 3. That's for sure. All right. You're awesome. Everyone, thank you for being a part of this. Share it, like it, flip it, bop it.
Sponsor.
You can bop it.
Oh yeah, bop it.
Bop it.
Twist it.
Yeah. So,
Shake it.
all right.
Whatever else. All
If we
right.
can be if we can be helpful at GPS Therapies, get a hold of gpstherapies.com. Look for my book coming out. Just get a hold of us. We can be helpful. Allison, thank you.
Thank you. Peace.
Later, Gator.
Later,
Bye-bye.
Gator.